So we're going to start a brand new example. I'm going to basically get rid of a lot of this code, and then we will going to create a circle, and in the middle of that circle we're going to place a label. Usually, when you have to do it in the old-fashioned way, you can't really do that, because label and circle, they come from two different families. One is a graphics object and one is a UI object. And then in order to stack one on top of the other, you have to know your coordinates very well, right? So now we're going to learn a little different way of doing that in FX. So what I will do is, let me save this one as I'm going to call this one stacked GUI items. Rename. So I do not need a button, I do not need HBox, I do not need to style. I'm getting rid of everything that I don't need. And this is what's left over. We'll fix that error as we write the rest of the code. We have a class called pane, which is short for panel, which is a window that can't exist on its own, rather it exists as a part of an existing window. We can create pane of StackedPane type. You guys understand stacks, like something that falls on top of each other, right? So anything in StackedPane, what happens, it automatically, one item falls on top of the other item. That's how you create a stack. So we're going to use a StackedPane. And now we're going to create a circle. And let's try to set the radius of circle. Oops. Thank you. And let's set it to maybe 45. And besides that, you can set some other properties of the circle. Like I want the circle to have a fill of the following color. And then I would like to add the circle to my pane. So again, I'm going to take help from getChildren that we learned in the last example, and we will add the circle to the pane. So one item done. Now I'm going to create a label. I might need a little bigger circle because that's a little longer text. When you have a chance, increase that to maybe 70 instead of 45. And again, let me add to the same pane by using the syntax pane.getChildren.add. Let's add the label. Because I have plans of increasing the font size in the next phase, that's what I'm using, 70. And then I will going to simply add the pane to the scene. So now when I run it, notice the label automatically fits in the center of the circle. I didn't do any coordinates. And the color is gray because I gave 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. I gave the same number to all three of them. And then I used the alpha of 0.1. Everybody got it? Okay. So since it's a stack pane, it was able to stack on top of each other automatically. The sequence matters though in stacking. Okay. Now let's try to do one more thing with the circle. Let's try to set the stroke of the circle. Because there is no border of the circle right now, let's add a border to the circle. So let's go up in the circle properties. And we're going to say, okay, circle dot set stroke. And for that you have to use a color. So I can use color dot blue. Run it, and you will notice that you do have a blue line. On the outer line of the circle is a blue color line. We can also try setting the font of the label. So I can come down here and I can say label dot set font, and font class, which is a built-in class in the JavaFX. I can call and I can set the fonts. So I want it to be Times New Roman. I want my font weight. Remember, this is also a CSS property, to be bold. However, font posture is what it uses for italic. You have to organize your imports. And then the size, I can use 18 points. Let me balance my parentheses. So I have the font name, I have the font weight, and I have the font posture, and I have the size. In the AWT days, you would have to do font.bold plus font.italic if you want to do bold and italic. Here they have designated properties to do so. Now when you run it, it will going to be in Times New Roman. It'll going to be slightly larger. It'll be bold and italic.